All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. It is March 21st, but we're going to do the March 20th report today, right now. A lot going on, just updated things, and there's talk of a Trump third term already. It has not even been 2 months, actually 2 months right now today, but a Trump third term is already talking. As we said on the lead up yesterday, we're a lot of talk about the Tesla and the terrorism that's going on there, as the administration is calling it, domestic terrorism. A lot more. There's the post-Turkish stuff, not a lot, but still protests. There has been a firing of the Shin Bet leader, or head person in Israel. A lot of talk between America and Ukraine, and they're getting prepped for a big war with China. So this is your crisis report. We're going to get started right now for March 20th, as you can see right there, 2025. That's really March 21st. All right, friends, strap in, get your like buttons hit and your notification bell set and all that, and let's go through the intel. Next, United States-Russia talks are going to take place on Sunday, early next week, according to the Kremlin. Ukraine has reportedly hit Russian airfield, this is a big one, housing Putin's nuclear bombers, triggering massive mushroom cloud explosion. Iran foreign minister says that Trump's nuclear talks letter was more of a threat, and Tehran will respond soon. We know that's coming. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says his company is set to spend hundreds of billions on chips and other electronics manufactured in America over the next 4 years. Canada's new Prime Minister Mark Carney is going to call snap elections on April 28th, according to their government source. RFK Jr. told food companies that he wants food dyes out of the foods. I think we all do. Those things are terrible for you. American citizen George Glesman. Let me get this down. So there we go. American citizen George Glesman, who has spent more than 2 years in detention in Afghanistan, has been released and is now on his way to the United States. Mr. Zelensky says he will not discuss United States ownership of Ukraine's nuclear plants with Trump. That was a big new addition to possibly settling the ceasefire and getting that all ready to roll. European Commission urges immediate preparation for the real possibility of a large-scale war with Russia. Ben Shapiro says he doesn't care who killed JFK because it was a long time ago. His media company, the Daily Wire, is in a lot of turmoil right now because a lot of different stuff. Folks, do you remember back in the Prepper News days? Do you remember the call of the coffee machine? It's back. Daily Wire's got problems. Just fired their CEO, I believe. We'll see. I don't really listen to him or watch him. So I kind of find Ben Shapiro to be annoying, to be honest with you. He talks too quick. France has urged all citizens to evacuate Iran immediately. That was a big one yesterday that we put onto our members quickly so they knew. Poland and the United Kingdom are exploring joint defense spending initiatives to enhance military production and efficiency and growing security concerns in Europe. Polish Finance Minister Andrzej Domanski emphasizes collaboration with the United Kingdom, EU, and NATO partners to strengthen defense capabilities. Discussions include joint procurement strategies and funding mechanisms. The United Kingdom is also leading efforts to support Ukraine through a coalition of military planners. Hungary is increasingly defying EU unity by seeking to establish Ukraine as a buffer zone between Russia and Europe, according to Hungary's EU Minister János Boka. We do not see the security of Europe in the integration of Ukraine into defense systems, but we see the need for a buffer zone between Russia and European defense structures, which serves the interests of both Russia and Europe. President Trump is prepared to do whatever it takes to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons if President Trump decides to take action to stop Iran from obtaining nuclear weapons. We have the capability to do so. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu presents U.S. Senator John Fetterman with a silver pager, a nod to Israel's attack on Lebanon last summer. Fetterman responded with saying, "I was like, oh, I love it, I love it." Fetterman's not stupid. He knows where the trends are in Pennsylvania. Ukraine carried out massive kamikaze UAV attack on the airfield near the Engels strategic bomber base in southern Russia, causing a fire. Engels hosts key bomber regiments operating Tu-160 and Tu-95 aircraft used in strikes on Ukraine. Weapons depot was reportedly destroyed. There are people that are saying that there were nuclear weapons there. That's not true. They were more like cruise missiles and missiles for the underbelly of the planes. If you're using things for, that kind of a weapon, they're not. They're a little bit more goes into it to that storage. Finnish President Alexander Stubb says the only real solution to deter Moscow is to militarize Ukraine to its teeth. United States Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says, "I think if you want to learn something on this show tonight, buy a Tesla. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never be this cheap again." You do you, folks. We don't do stock advice here, but Yemen's Houthis launched a ballistic missile toward Israel, targeting Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv. Israeli Air Force intercepted it before it entered Israeli airspace. This marks the second such attack in 2 days. Trump reinstated the Diet Coke red button in the Oval Office, and he thinks that everybody says it looks like the nuclear button. Thank God it's not. China executed 4 Canadian citizens earlier this year for drug-related crimes, despite repeated clemency appeals from Canada. Canada condemned the executions, calling them a violation of human dignity and stressing its opposition to the death penalty. They were just hoping that the people could come on back to Canada and decide on themselves if they could euthanize themselves in one of Canada's many fine places to go and just do yourself in, get a nice comfortable thing. You don't have to get your pension anymore, and you can take yourself out Canadian style. Come on over to Canada, where we let you do you and not want China to make that decision for you. South Korea's defense ministry, Russian military planes entered Korean Air Defense Identification Zone, or CADIZ, without prior notice between March 11th and March 20th. IDF dropped leaflets in Gaza overnight on Wednesday, telling civilians the world map will not change if all the people of Gaza vanish. Italy, France, Spain, and Portugal have rejected Callas's 40 billion euro arms plan for Ukraine. The proposed amount may be reduced to 5 billion euros. Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen. Russia has chosen to be an enemy not only to NATO's eastern flank, but to all of Europe. Kremlin says Europe has turned into a party of war. Trump will sign an executive order this afternoon to eliminate the Department of Education, transferring authority to the states. A full shutdown would require a decision by Congress, but the president will instruct the Secretary of Education to begin the process. Biden administration killed nearly 8 million chickens ahead of President Trump's inauguration. leading to supply shortages and higher prices, according to the White House. Taliban government says that open to dialogue, particularly with the United States, after Americans are freed, or the American. United Kingdom Defense Intelligence. Russian armed forces have likely suffered around 900,000 casualties, killed and wounded since invading Ukraine in 2022, with 200,000 to 250,000 killed. Russians' highest losses since World War II. Yeah, that's according to the United Kingdom. Just keep that in mind. Hamas fired at least 6 rockets towards Tel Aviv. IDF reports that sirens sounded in central Israel following projectile launches from the Gaza Strip. Kremlin aide Ushakov, negotiations between representatives of Russia and the United States will take place in Riyadh on March 24th. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zakharova says, "You know what I want to say? Russia has no intention of attacking Germany. The Germans are making such claims, and perhaps these are Germans' own plans. In that case, Berlin should call things by their proper name." Basically accusing them of war. EU has postponed tariffs on American whiskey amid mid-April to allow for negotiations. So they're holding their tariffs off. Britain has issued a travel warning for the United States. The United Kingdom updated its U.S. travel advice, warning Brits of a possible arrest or detention for failing to meet entry requirements amid Trump's immigration crackdown. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius is planning a crisis meeting to discuss security concerns related to United States-made weapons systems, including the F-35 fighter jets. Some in the federal government fear the worst. Tesla vandals will end up behind bars, according to the Attorney General Bondi. Family of former Boeing employee who took his own life last year. You might remember that story. After raising numerous concerns about the company's production standards, well, they have filed a wrongful death lawsuit, according to reports. Trump demands the Supreme Court judges stop from blocking his agenda. President Trump signs an order aimed at shutting down the education department. A Mr. Soros-backed group led Chuck E. Schumer retirement push, sparking GOP to ask, who actually leads the party? Well, it's Mr. Soros who leads their party. That's why whenever you mention his real name on YouTube, they suppress the video. Go look at my latest video on the Tesla attacks. That's not because people don't want to see it. It's because they cram it down and don't let anybody get notification. He leads their party. Israel government has dismissed Shin Bet intelligence chief to a statement. United Kingdom Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called for the United Kingdom and French-led troops to be stationed in Ukrainian cities. Houthi forces attack escort vessels accompanying the USS Truman in the Red Sea. So now they're attacking the other escort vessels. Former Representative Cori Bush's husband has been indicted for wire fraud, accused of falsifying applications to obtain Rona relief funds. Who could have saw that coming? European military powers are developing a 5 to 10 year plan to replace the U.S. in NATO, aiming to strengthen defense capabilities and self-reliance amid rising doubts about America's commitment. Sudzha is burning. Ukrainian armed forces have struck Russia's gas artery. Military channels report a fire at the Sudzha gas measuring station located 500 meters from the border of Kursk and Sumy regions. It is through this region that the Urengoy-Pomeroy-Uzhgorod gas pipeline passes. Russian gas is transported to the EU via Ukraine through it. The official representative of the Russian Foreign Ministry, Zakharova, stated that Kiev, by attacking the Russian energy facility, has already violated the ceasefire proposed by the United States. Now the question is how Washington will continue to manage the crazed terrorist scum, according to Zakharova. Hat tip to Mr. DP for that one. Thank you, sir. North Korea has warned Japan against deploying long-range missiles in the Kyushu region in March 2026, saying that such an offensive capabilities would lead to constant escalation of tensions in Northeast Asia. Russia has expanded its gold reserves to a record high, reaching $217.4 billion as of March 1st. Gold now accounts for 34.4% of the country's total foreign exchange reserves. Earlier today, Ukrainian armed forces conducted an overnight attack on Russian Federation's Ingles Air Base. Smoke in the footage is a consequence of the attack on the military airfield. Locals claim that military ammunition depots are located there. According to Axios, a senior Israeli delegation will visit the White House next week for strategic talks on Iran, according to Israeli and U.S. officials. With skepticism over a new nuclear deal, Israel aims to coordinate potential military actions with Washington. Renewed major air campaign by United States Navy and Air Force against Houthi targets in Yemen. They are now designated a terror organization in the U.S. Israel Defense Forces announced it launched a military offensive against Rafah. Argentine poverty rate has fallen to 34.9% in February. This is a 12 percentage point drop from the 47% recording in September 2024, according to a study realized by Ditella University. Homelessness also fell. It went from 15.8% to 8.7% in the year-on-year comparison. So I guess when you have a libertarian right-wing person come in to power, they tend to get things economically snapped into place pretty quickly. Argentina. Maybe we'll see something like that here in America. Martial law and mobilization in Ukraine will not be extended after May 9th. The command stop has been given. That's a good sign. United States President Donald Trump just signed an executive order that serves to get rid of the United States Department of Education. Conor McGregor has announced his candidacy for president of Ireland. They could do worse. A newly released JFK file reveals that CIA and counterintelligence chief James Angleton helped Israel obtain nuclear weapons, defying Kennedy's orders. More releases are coming out of the JFK files, and evidently the great-grandson or something like that of JFK was like melting down over all of it. Over 50 hours since the attack on Hamas has begun, here are some of the numbers. 200 targets attacked, 710 terror killed, 900 injured, 0 rockets launched from Gaza, 2 ballistic missiles launched from Yemen. Israel has been expanding its ground activity in the Gaza Strip in recent hours. IDF forces with air support from combat helicopters raided additional areas in the northern Gaza Strip today. ABC report the IDF has distributed leaflets in the Gaza Strip that state that Trump's plan will soon be implemented. The plan will force you to be displaced whether you like it or not, it says. According to the report, this is what was written on the leaflets. The world map will not change if all the people of Gaza vanish before the implementation of Trump's forced plan, which will impose your forced displacement whether you like it or not. We have decided to make a final appeal to those who wish to receive aid in exchange for cooperating with us. We will not hesitate to help. No one will feel for you, and no one will ask you about you. You are left alone to face your inevitable fate. Neither the U.S. nor Europe cares about Gaza. The game is almost over, and only a little remains. Whoever wants to save themselves before it's too late, we are here to stay. until Judgment Day. Dang. For the first time in 164 days, Hamas fired at least 3 rockets towards Tel Aviv. IDF reports that sirens sounded in central Israel following projectile launches from the Gaza Strip. IDF and Shin Bet senior Hamas officials have been eliminated. IDF and Shin Bet eliminated Rashid Jaju, head of Hamas's general security apparatus. Ayman Asli, head of the Khan Yunis region. Jaju unit was key in exposing collaborations, securing Hamas leadership, and executing terror plots against Israel. He also led Hamas propaganda efforts in Gaza. Another night of riots and clashes against the Sultan in Turkey. They have started in Istanbul. The youngins are the ones that really like the mayor that they put behind bars. Poland is also stepping up preparations for a possible war. Ministry of Internal Affairs and Administration is urging citizens of the Republic to stock up on 3 days of autonomous survival. In addition, France is also preparing for war. Each family will receive a 20-page survival guide during a threat, including a nuclear one. Recommendations include having 6 bottles of water, 10 cans of food, and batteries at home. In the event of a nuclear attack, all doors should be closed. By summer 2025, all French households in the Europe department will receive this guide in their mailboxes. The title of this document will be chosen personally by Macron. All HE double hockey sticks is broken out in Odessa after massive waves of Russian UAVs strikes on the city. Trump warns that anyone sabotaging Tesla cars will face up to 20 years in prison. Don't do it. Sudan's army is retaking control of the presidential palace in central Khartoum from RSF militias after 2 years. This is hopefully good. I mean, they have been in a bloody civil war for a long time. U.S. seeks to renegotiate mineral deal with Ukraine, aiming to include the Russian-controlled Zaporozhye nuclear power plant as part of a broader economic deal. Qatargate, scandal in Israel. Israeli government, led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, has unanimously voted to dismiss Shin Bet chief Ronan Bar, marking the first time in Israel's history that a sitting head of the Internal Security Agency has been fired. Heathrow Airport has been shut until midnight following a major power outage caused by a fire at an electrical substation in Hayes, that's West London. Fire, which began late on March 20th, has left over 16,000 homes without power and forced the evacuation of 150 people. Over 1,300 flights canceled, affecting 145,000 plus passengers. Officials expect prolonged disruptions in the coming days. EU defense budget plan excludes Israel's arms industry. European Union has unveiled a new $150 billion loan of euros fund under the Rearm Europe Plan Readiness 2030, which aims to boost Europe's defense capabilities. Israel has been excluded from participating in contracts financed by this fund due to strict procurement rules favoring European-made defense systems. Pentagon briefing for Elon Musk on a potential war with China. Pentagon plan to brief Elon Musk on the U.S.'s military operational plans for a potential war with China. Briefing was set to cover top-secret U.S. war plans, including military strategies, targets, and contingency measures in the event of conflict with China. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Admiral Christopher W. Grady, Acting Joint Chiefs Chairman, and Admiral Samuel J. Paparo, head of the Indo-Pacific Command, were scheduled to present the details. The meeting was to be held in the Tank, a secure Pentagon conference room used for top-level military briefings. Musk's role remains unclear as he is not part of the military chain of command. Following reports, President Trump denied that the meeting would involve China, stating China will not even be mentioned or discussed. However, multiple officials confirmed the original purpose was China-focused. Despite these denials, the Wall Street Journal confirmed that Musk was set to receive details on China's war plans. He creates our rockets. He just saved 2 astronauts. The guy has a lot of things to do with our intelligence and military capabilities. Think of him as the billionaire influencer of the administration. And who is the billionaire influencer of the Democrats? That's right, it is Mr. Soros. And what does he do? He destroys things. So personally, I'd rather have Mr. Musk sitting there looking at things, thinking of his, using his big brain to come up with ideas for us to win, compared to Mr. Soros, who's probably sitting back hoping to God we lose that sucker so he can buy things in America for pennies on the dollar and start sucking off the Chinese. But what do I know? Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei says the United States and others must know that if they commit any foolish act against the Iranian people, they will receive a severe and crushing slap. Iran has no proxies in the region. Those groups act independently. United Kingdom Energy Minister at Heathrow Airport says there is no suggestion that there is foul play from that earlier fire. France and the United Kingdom have abandoned the idea of deploying troops to Ukraine and are now advocating for an alternative, a UN-led peacekeeping mission. Yeah, because the Russians basically said if you do that, we're going to, destroy you. French President Emmanuel Macron is reportedly considering establishing a UN peacekeeping mission for Ukraine, an idea he raised during the European Council summit yesterday. Steve Bannon on Trump's 3rd term, he says, I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. We're working on it. I think we'll have a few alternatives. We'll see how term limit is defined. And with that, there was a sudden, like a million leftists cried out in the night. Egyptian President El-Sisi told Arab leaders he was willing to temporarily relocate 500,000 Gazans to northern Sinai for reconstruction efforts, according to Hezbollah-linked Lebanese Al-Akbar. German upper house of parliament passed a debt reform and approved a 500 billion euro fund, according to a vote tally. So now they can blow all of your money. And the Kremlin says Putin's order to refrain from striking Ukraine's energy infrastructure remains in effect. Kremlin also claims that the attack on the Russian gas transit station in Sudzha proves that Zelensky cannot be trusted. So, I personally don't think that Trump should go for a 3rd term. I think he should just go for broke during this one and get everything done and set up Vance to take over. I think that's the smartest move. It'll take the focus. The thing that is really, I think, stunning the left on all this is the fact that Trump doesn't have to win a re-election. He has 4 years to do whatever the heck he wants. And so he's just got to keep doing what he's doing. I mean, 2 months today is what the regime has been in. It has been maximum pressure, to say the least. So I say keep doing what he's doing and get prepared. Try to focus from some kind of a BS war with Russia and move it over so our focus is China and we can act accordingly. Hopefully, nothing bad will come from any of this. There will be no war, but hope for peace and prepare for war, folks. That's what you do. So, well, I know this is a little bit different. I'm just kind of testing an idea that maybe it'd be better instead of falling asleep at the wheel to go up early. Most people, don't even watch this at night. Most of them come after the fact and go back to the way that we do Prepper News with a 7:30 a.m. kind of, premiere. So just testing the waters. You tell me what you think in the comments. Do you like it this way? Do you not? Do you like the old way? Do it late? That will come back. I will, over the summer, get much more early. But yeah, just trying to test a new thing. But I appreciate you being here. Hit the like button and all that. I'm also going to have a video on PrepperNow coming out because I didn't live stream there. But I'm going to do a video on all that's going on in the world on PrepperNow. That'll probably be right after this video at about 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So stay tuned for that one and watch that premiere. All right, friends, God bless, and we will see you on the next one. Hit the links in the description. Thanks for all of your support. You can find this on preppernow.substack.com if you'd like to follow the links and such. But we appreciate you being here. And of course, please consider becoming a member here, or maybe a member on Locals, or maybe a member on Subscribestar, which I'm already populating for the day. And I get to put out a lot of interesting things on just what's going on. Just things you can't post in places like here at Facebook. God bless.